I said I wasn't going to put any more leaks on the second channel, but maybe this will be, maybe I'll call this video like how to write a fake leak or something like that. Look, this is my clickbait channel, all right? I'm allowed to be a bit clickbait on this channel. Yeah, Rise of the Aspects. I have read through that one. And, I mean, yeah, it's every guess I would have given, for sure. And let's have a look at it very, very quickly, just before we get started today. Here we go, Rise of the Aspects. But it is, like, genuinely an interesting leak in that it says a lot of stuff that is... there's very little here which isn't just an educated guess. Like, if someone said, give me some educated guesses about what you think the next expansion will be, and also the lead up to it, then this is basically what I would write. A disgruntled senior level designer at Blizzard who recently resigned and is in my guild mentioned this during one of our raid nights last week to myself and 2 other officers. Their identity is known to us. The expansion will be unveiled in the first half of March on a YouTube live stream. Patch 9.2 is set to release at the end of February. Believable. 9.2 has multiple cinematics. Fact. The final one will be available in week 2 with the jailer. Sounds very believable. The expansion is revealed 2 days later, the following Thursday. Expansion name: Rise of the Aspects. New continent: the Dragon Isles. 5 zones, thematic to the different aspects. Now, this is some... If this is a fake leak, then genuinely, they've done this very, very well. I don't think I could write a better fake leak than this. And that's the highest praise that I can possibly give it. I can't find much to argue about in this leak. 5 zones, thematic to the different aspects. Main story in each zone is their return to power. It just sounds so very legit. It sounds so very legit. 1 zone is fully dedicated to endgame content a la Suramar. This is the zone thematic to the Black Dragon Flight. Do they talk about Steve Danusa being a horrible person? I don't think they do, which again is a very short, like a very good leak. Because often they can't help themselves, these fake leakers. Rathian is a central character. This is also the location of Deathwing's corruption, which the story will dive into. The first raid is located in this zone, a massive old god temple a la Stormsong Valley, but larger. N'Zoth did not die and is in the back. This is the biggest doubt I have about the entire leak. Old gods. Would they do N'Zoth in the new expansion? I know a lot of people want them to. A lot of people kind of expect them to, but would they? Because we did just do N'Zoth at the end of BFA. And I've always said that I think that Stormsong Valley and the way that Stormsong Valley literally recreates the old god temple from the unused Dragon Isles from Vanilla WoW in the files. I've always seen that as Blizzard basically telling us that they're not going to be having old god temples on the Dragon Isles. Now look, I'd be up for it. I love old god shit. It would also make it another expansion with an old god themed first raid. Like, BFA had an old god themed first raid and last raid, and now we think there's going to be an old god themed first raid in 10.0. I don't know. N'Zoth did not die and is in the background. Sounds fun. New PvE system, Layers. Procedurally generated cavern layers that will feature a variety of different bosses to fight. There are powers similar to Torghast. It was explained as a boss rush mode. There are very few packs of normal mods. Core gameplay is heavily focused on boss fights. The system has a challenge mode for cosmetic rewards. Think Mage Tower, but several bosses and unique powers. And it's not like Mage Tower then, is it? New class, Tinkerer. Male class, 2 specs, range DPS with turrets and other gimmicks, mecha suit for tanking. Now, I think this is a thing. Because I made a whole video about it. Key points. Level cap increased to 70, obviously. All time walking zones become 1 to 60. Shadowlands is added to Chromie, obviously. Partial old world revamp. Notable zones that are overhauled include Tanaris and Twilight Highlands. These will have content related to max level, and players will visit them briefly during questing. The Infinite Dragonflight has a major presence in Tanaris. Gadgetzan is updated. It is a larger quest hub, but not as portrayed in Hearthstone. The cultists are once again a major player in Twilight Highlands. Here's why I hope this leak is fake. Because I hate the Twilight cultists. They can fuck right off though. I hate that shit. I hate it. Other zones, such as Elwyn Forest, Durotar, West for Elwyn Forest, really? Duskwood remains the same, but with improved graphics. Many of the old buildings have been updated to modern graphics. This includes Stormwind and Orgrimmar. X for doubt on that one, fam. I don't think they'd touch Orgrimmar. Cross-faction endgame gameplay. Raiding, dungeons, PvP, and other endgame content can be done in groups of both factions. Cannot be cross-faction grouped in war mode. Opposing faction cities are still hostile. Yeah, I got some X for doubt coming in now. I was completely sold on this as a legit leak. Like, genuinely. No joking. No lie. No joke. But now... I don't know, fam. Major professions overhaul, large focus, multiple new developers recruited specifically for this. Okay, conclusion of Shadowlands, 9.25 and the pre-patch. Using the forge of the first ones, the jailer successfully drains Azeroth. Now, judging from what I've read about the jailer's abilities in 9.2 in the raid, and the abilities that he uses on Azeroth, it doesn't seem like he's trying to drain Azeroth. It seems like he's trying to bust it. He's launching missiles and shit at it, and doing damage to it, literally doing damage to its health bar. Busting makes him feel good. Not draining. Draining don't make him feel good. I'm starting to get lots more doubt on this. The jailer successfully drains Azeroth, severely injuring the planet. The wounds that were sealed have re-emerged, and Azeroth is on the brink of dying again. After Zovol, the jailer, has been defeated, the first ones appear in the cinematic, resetting Zovol to his original deactivated form. I just don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so, Redbot spoiler, I do think that the jailer is going to be, he does get, put back to his original deactivated form. I think that, judging by some data mining we've had in the last week, that definitely seems like it's going to happen. But I don't think it's the first ones that come along and do it. He is not dead and will return in the future. There will be an epilogue in the form of 9.25, featuring a short quest line centered around Tyrande forgiving Sylvanas and Sylvanas looking for Nathanos. We have data mined dialogue that seems to back that up. What does deactivated form mean? They found it on in Wowhead, and you know how on Zereth Mortis all of the things are they're kind of like robots, and there's a fight in the new raid where all of the Eternal Ones are there's an original version of them. They found a version of the jailer, and spoilers, one of the Zereth Mortis kind of robots, and it's kind of slumped over, and it's got the jailer's tattoos on it, which suggests that it is the jailer and not an early version of the jailer, because we know that those tattoos are there from the Primus when the jailer was imprisoned. So the fact that the robot has got the tattoos on suggests very strongly that it is the current jailer that is that robot thing. And the kneeling down position is the exact same position as his death animation. It seems very, very clear that the jailer gets turned into his old original kind of robot form right at the end of the raid. Wait, I just realized that the jailer got face tattoos in jail. Yeah, that was always part of the jailer's aesthetic, right? Is that he had runes all over him, but they looked like Russian prison tattoos. That's always been part of his design. It's brilliant. I like the design. I think it's kind of cool. The patch will also include minor quality of life additions and time walking for BFA dungeons, including Mythic Plus, if you say so, and the Battle for Dazara Lore raid, if you say so. I got an X for doubt on that as well. Anduin is saved, but will not be himself. Again, quite easy to predict. As the heroes of Azeroth return, the Stormwind nobles are skeptical of their king, instead giving their loyalty to Rallian. Anduin will feel defeated and depressed about everything he did during his domination and will not fight it. Gen Greymane and Matthias Shaw is acting on Anduin's behalf to restore him to the throne. Tension in the alliance is growing. Okay, that sounds a bit fanficky to me, honestly, because it would mean Tyrallion just instantly turning, showing, the mask dropping, right? And Tyrallion would be nah, I'm in charge now, boy. Yeah, I don't know. The Scarlet Crusade is significantly growing in power in the background. Tyrallion plays a big part in this. I don't know if I buy these last bits. This is all I managed to get notes for. Everything was happening quickly, and we were not warned that they were going to spill the beans. Believe it if you will, the reveal is just 2 months away. So all of the structure of this, I absolutely believe. The release of 9.2, and then the actual announcement of the expansion. No release dates, they mention. The general shape of the expansion and everything, I can completely believe. So what are the things that you don't believe about this leak? Because this is far and away the most legit one yet. Because they've been clever. They've been clever with this one. They haven't done anything too out there. The live stream part, I'm not sure. The Tyrallion part doesn't seem believable. Yeah, If it turns out to be true, the Terralian stuff, I'm down with it. It's fine, but it doesn't quite seem believable to me. Why would Terralian know anything about the Scarlet Crusade? Well, that's why he could not know how bad they are. Maybe. Apparently, the guy who wrote this is going around providing screenshots of himself saying it's fake. Well, I'll tell you the reason why I think it's fake. There's two reasons why I think it's fake. It does that thing which I would do if I was writing a leak. And this is what I mean when I say that I couldn't write a better leak than this. But it does the thing I would do. How do you write a leak that people will believe? And when I say people, you don't actually have to fool people. The only people you have to fool with a fake leak are creators. You get a bunch of creators saying that the leak is legit, people will go with it, and people will be like, yeah, sure. So when you start writing a fake leak, what you've actually got to do is you've got to find a way to appeal to creators. And so what I would do if I was writing a fake leak, which is exactly what this guy does, he hits creator talking points. And he hits predictions that creators specifically have made. It's very fucking clever. It's exactly what I would do. So like the Tinker and the layers and stuff like that. And he stays away from like the really big predictions like player housing, stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely creator service. Absolutely. Yeah, Tinker is the thing that gave it away for me, really. Even though I think it is going to happen. Why Tinkerer, though? That's just like so air. Okay, so the things I like about the Tinker are the customization options that you could give it. I really love the idea of having a tank that wears a mech suit and you can like individually customize your mech suit. I just think that would be really cool. They absolutely hit on that point from my video. It's a clever leak. But the other thing that gives it away as a fake leak for me personally, and I might be wrong about this. This sounds all right. I wouldn't be that mad if I was, I wouldn't mind too much if this turned out to be the expansion, honestly. The other thing that gives it away is they've tried to do the best of both worlds. They've said that this person told them on a raid night, basically. One, I don't believe anyone's still having raid nights. Two, they say that they've scribbled all this down quickly while the person was saying it on their raid night. But then they've actually presented it in terms of like sentence structure and stuff as if it was actually a leak from like an email, which doesn't match up. You know, like they've written it in the way with the language and the sentence structure as if it is like a leaked email, you know, and like a proper summary with bullet points and stuff, which just doesn't for me match up with how they said they heard the information. Other zones such as Elwyn Forest, Durotar, Westfall, Duskwood remains the same but with improved graphics. Many of the old buildings, cross-faction, like it's just written like they could have turned their notes into full sentences. Yeah, of course. But for me, I don't know. It just seems a bit like a press release. That doesn't mean it's not true, but it just makes me think it isn't. It's fake because I know Blizzard employees don't play their own games. Exactly. The real leaks come just before BlizzCon because that's when stuff actually starts going out to third parties. It's just before BlizzCon that, like, you know, boards, billboards, and posters and stuff go out to get printed. And it's always like the printer that fucking leaks them. That's exactly what happened with Shadowlands. One of those boards that goes up by the side of the stage and stuff. That's pretty much how Wrath got leaked, which is the other big famous leak. But that's the only way things get leaked. I feel like it must be really easy to actually identify actual employees that leak shit because it just never happens. Yeah, but this guy is doing pretty much what I would do if I was writing a fake leak. He's hitting all the things. Everyone already thinks it's Dragon Isles. Like, you can already make so many educated guesses about what the schedule is going to be from now on with regards to 9.2 and then a potential announcement of the new expansion. I think everyone expects the new expansion to be announced very soon after 9.2, especially if that's around February, March, because that's when BlizzConline would have been. So it just makes sense. This is all like very educated guesses. He's using things that we know definitely are fact from data mining, or that certainly appear to be fact from data mining, like Tyrannus and Sylvanas and the Jailer, and like you know, what happens to the Jailer when he dies and things like that. The fact that he uses draining Azeroth as opposed to like just battering Azeroth, which I think is what really happens. I don't know. He's hitting all of the talking points that everyone's talking about, like cross-faction, like slight world revamp. Here's the thing that gets me. The whole level cap increases to 70 thing is so obvious. And the whole like Shadowlands added to Chromie time thing is so obvious. If I was a real Blizz employee and I was just telling people about the next expansion as I was raiding with them, why would I even mention this? Why would I even mention that the level cap is increasing to 70? I'm raiding with my raid group and I decide that I'm going to leak the next expansion. No one cares. No one wants to hear it. Everyone wants to hear about the new zone and shit like that. I can't believe anyone, instead of saying, holy shit, what are the names of the new zones, would instead say, what's the level cap? That's just to get as many believable things into it as possible. And it's good for a fake leak. It's exactly what I would do. I would say as many things that sound completely legit as possible, whether they're interesting or not. So level cap to 70? Yeah, obviously, I believe it. I believe it. Of course you believe it. And in your mind, subconsciously, it's just another part of the leak that you believe. This is exactly how I would write a leak. And so they hit all of the creator talking points, except for one, which is player housing. And there's also no progression system mentioned either. So the actually really kind of out there stuff, they're very clever, and they just don't commit on that one. Because genuinely, this could be, I mean, I believe this is a fake leak, and yet I would imagine you could tick off a bunch of stuff about this that is definitely true. That doesn't mean it's a real leak. Like, do you know how I predicted literally everything in BFA before it was announced? I got so much right that if I had called it a fake leak instead of making a video about it and calling it a prediction, if I'd called it a fake leak, everyone would think it was a real leak. Now, people would still talk about it as if it was a real leak because it was so right. You know? So just because, I think this will turn out to be right about loads of stuff, but I still don't think it's real. I think it's very, very clever, and I think there's some really nifty bits of writing in here and some very educated guesses, which I completely agree with. But at the end of the day, where's Telebeam? Yeah, maybe it's one of those partially true leaks we got for BFA. Yeah, still waiting for Sylvanas' ghost ship fleet to arrive in Stormwind and decapitate Bane. You should make your own fake leaks and pop them on MMO Champ. Yeah, ones that are really horrible about me, especially for the content.